Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I twisted her arm, and I had her to come back. Our Alabama State Representative, Ginny, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Donna.
Well, I tell you, there are a lot of issues that are out there, and I know you're on top of all of them. But one that I struggle with, and that's human trafficking. And how did we get to this point? I've spoken to several people in the area. Sherry Heights on the show frequently. She's with Alabama Northeast Alabama Family Services, and we were talking about that. And I said, "Well, that's just in New York. That's just in Chicago." And she said, "Donna, you need to get educated. It's here."
No, it's here. Sadly, it's here. It's not a new problem. But it is an epidemic right now, basically because of the border. And it's just wide open, and it has really exacerbated the problem. We've always had it, but now people are being brought into the country, and it's a form of slavery.
Yes, it is.
They're promised a wonderful life, and that's not what happens. And then, unfortunately, the sad reality is they get here, they're entrapped, they can't find their way out. And so it really is a serious problem that is right along there with the drug trade. And, drugs can only be sold to the end user one time, but humans are sold multiple times over and over. They're a product that's sold multiple times. It's all about the money. And it's enriching these drug cartels, and unfortunately, these people are enslaved, and their lives are ruined. Unless they can find a way out.
And it's all ages too. It's not just kids. I mean, whatever your fancy might be, they're going to find somebody.
Well, I guess the bottom line, what really upsets me, other than the fact that these people are being abused, and what happens to them, is the fact that there's a market, and how how disturbed does somebody have to be, and if there weren't a market, they wouldn't be coming. And so we've got a serious problem, the fact that there is a market for this activity.
Well, I know that you guys are working on a few things right now concerning that, but what can we do as citizens? Because we've been going through several decades of just ignore that, you didn't see that, they mind your own business kind of a thing. But there's sometimes our business, we need to get into it.
Well, people may not be aware, the recent movie Sound of Freedom is shining a light on this issue. And I think it'll make us more aware and of the signs to look for if somebody needs help. And it can be a very dangerous situation too. So there's always that. It may not be that we need to personally try to intervene, but to do what we can to report it.
I wouldn't know what to do, but we could get to the right authorities to do something about it.
If we know. So just to be on the lookout, we've actually we're on top of it in Alabama. In 2019, we had a package of bills to address some issues surrounding the trafficking issue, and one of them was to train truck drivers what to spot, because so much of this activity takes place on the interstates and around truck stops and where people stop getting on and off the interstate. And in our area, we are actually a hot spot because of our proximity to Atlanta, Chattanooga, Huntsville, Birmingham, to these big cities, and having the interstate run through. We are right in the middle of it. And I know Sheriff Weldon and here in DeKalb County, he and his officers have made many arrests and have spotted not just human traffickers but drug traffickers, because those industries, those activities.
It is an industry. It is a huge bulky business.
It is. And with the border wide open, people are flowing through, the drugs are flowing through, and they do go hand in hand. And the very first bill that we passed in this session was to impose minimum sentences on fentanyl distribution, because with all other drugs that that are against the law, we have those in place. But fentanyl being the drug of the day, the most abused, and its chemical components were not included in that. So we had to pass a law to impose those penalties to try to deter some of that activity. So we've done that as well, because that's a big part of it, is the close relation between the drug trafficking and the human trafficking.
You know, I wish we could go back to the 1960s and the 70s when I was growing up. It may sound boring to some of you guys, but back during you could go out and go to a neighbor's house, whatever you wanted to do, and you just we didn't have those dangers that we have now. And we got to be careful not to smother our kids, you know.
No, but you have to.
That stuff out
You've
there.
got to protect our children. They are the most vulnerable, and it's really, really scary and sad. And in this day and time of a life online, and we all have phones, and we're all on the internet, and our children have phones, and where, you know, I remember my parents telling me not to talk to a stranger. Well, with their phone and online, that gives them access to strangers
the world into their
worldwide.
Phones.
And so, you know, people are not always who they present themselves to be. A child may think that they're...
Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that somebody who says they're with the military and tells me I'm the most beautiful person he's ever seen ladies' eyes on, that may not be real?
Well, you are, Donna, but you're the for real, and that person may not be, and they're probably, you know,
trying to suck money out of you is what they're trying to do.
Trying to get money out of you. But sadly, you know, if they are in the United States and you're an underage, they may be trying to hook up with somebody, you know, underage, because they're gullible, they're vulnerable, and it's really just very frightening. And it does happen every day, and it is happening right here.
I think if I had a son or a daughter and they were a young teenager, I wouldn't let them on Facebook. I would, and it'd be hard to control.
I'm so glad that I was able to raise my kids before social media.
Me too.
It just opens up that world of strangers and puts it right in the palm of their hands. So.
I'd like to see some things come forth. There's a lot of grandparents are raising their grandkids right now. And I'm going to tell you, these kids are born knowing how to use a cell phone.
They are. And it's hard to keep up with technology. And
I'd like to see some classes, like maybe some classes passed in each area, every county in Alabama, where grandparents or maybe parents who just are not up on, you know, what social media is.
Well,
just to invite us and teach us a little bit.
It would be incumbent and behoove parents and grandparents who are responsible for children to learn all that they can. You know, there's tools that can be used on the kid's phone to, you know, block certain apps and certain activities, and you know, we have to do everything we can to learn what's out there and to help protect our children.
One of the listeners one time sent a message to me, and she said, well, my kid put a password on the phone. What would you do? And I said, I would get the phone out of their grudgy little hands and I would destroy it. If they're not going to give you the passcode, there's an issue somewhere.
Yeah. Parents have to be in control. They have to be in control of their
You got to be the bad guy sometimes.
You got to be the parent. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to do that. I mean, I care about your kids. I do. I have nightmares about, I had one last night about Phil and I were in Fort Payne for some reason. We were at the gas station right there at the interstate. And I dreamed this last night. It's just vivid. I dreamed that a man was over at the dumpster. Because I think about this all the time. I dreamed a man was at the dumpster and left 4 kids over there.
Oh,
and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And one was a baby. And something generally comes out of my dreams for some reason. I've been thinking about that all day long. That's why I wanted to talk to you about this.
Well, that does bring up a bill that was passed in the legislature this session. My representative friend, Donna Givens, brought this bill, and it has to do with baby boxes, so that if someone wants to surrender a newborn, that there's a safe place to leave the baby. Already people can go to a hospital, but, you know, to remain anonymous, and we're starting out with a limited number, but as funds become available, private funds are paying for these boxes.
I'd like to help promote that.
And so that people can safely surrender a child that they don't want, you know, a baby.
You know what? This is going to sound odd to you, But if you went through a pregnancy and you did not have an abortion, and you can't see yourself raising a child, I still say you're a hero, because you've raised an awesome. It could be the person who cures cancer. You never know who it is, and so I'm going to label you as a hero, because you see enough that you're going to find a place for that child to thrive and live. So in that case, I'm calling you a hero.
And that's the point of just overhauling our adoption law to streamline it and make it easier, and to try to.
It's so expensive to adopt.
It is, especially through a private agency. Now, through DHR, it's not so much, but to do it privately through an adoption agency, it's much more expensive. And it's because it's time consuming and going through the court process. But we tried to make that easier and better.
My daughter-in-law is from Russia.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually...
She was right here when she was 9 years old.
Before we've made these changes, which don't take effect until January, it was actually easier in the state to adopt a child from outside the country than right here, when we've got over 6,000 children in foster care. And the goal is to have those children in a permanent home as soon as possible. The average time is over 2 years, and that's a long time in the life of a child.
Oh my goodness.
And then the number one goal is to keep families together and reunite families. And sometimes, due to people being, incarcerated, or, being addicted to drugs and those kind of situations where there's abuse, that's not possible. So those children, have to be placed with someone else. So
I think adoption's a beautiful thing. I know Larissa came here. My son married into the most wonderful family, much better people than we are. They're wonderful folks, and so they went to Russia to adopt her and her two sisters. So they wound up going. I don't think you could do that now, but this is back a long time ago, several decades ago, and so they wound up with 3 girls.
Wow.
And that was pretty awesome. She said, I just couldn't break them up.
Yeah.
I had to keep the sisters together.
That's wonderful.
It's a wonderful folks.
Keep them together.
We've got to go into a commercial break. Look at that. We'll be back in just a minute. Y'all hang in there. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand-new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You know, IC stands for In Christ Radio.
I did know that.
And it also stands for ice cream when it's really hot outside.
Well, that's today, isn't it?
Yeah, boy, we're in a heat wave of some sort, aren't we?
Ooh.
Absolutely. Ginny Schaefer is with me right now. Your husband is in politics.
He is.
He's been a sheriff for a really long time.
He's the sheriff in Cherokee County, and he's in his 5th term.
Wow.
So,
You got to be a good sheriff to keep it on for 5 terms.
well, he has a lot of good people working with him, and
Good staff.
so yes, he does. And that makes a big difference. Having good folks.
Well, we are proud that Geraldine is in your area.
Oh, I'm proud.
You're Alabama State Representative. Very proud.
Very proud to have Geraldine in Southern DeKalb in District 39.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. I don't hound you to death or anything. Just every once in a blue moon, I'll come up with something. But I like the way you guys work on these issues, and you really do listen to all of us. We appreciate that.
We do. It just like we've talked about, just being approached with an issue turns into legislation, hopefully changing things and making things better in the state. So
We're talking about human trafficking, and you've given some relief. I feel like is out there on the horizon. but we just have to be patient too. I'm one of those yesterday people. When I decide to do something in business, I go, well, I want to do it yesterday, so sometimes there's a process that you have to go through.
There
I
is.
understand that process now. I didn't at first, but I think
There is, and it's a good thing. It really is a good thing that it's not easy, that it takes some time, because what we do does affect people's daily lives, and it needs to be deliberate and thought through, and not done in haste.
Well, the Proverbs
on the
says
spur of
not
the-
to do anything in
That's
haste.
right, and not on the spur of the moment. It really needs to be thought through. So it is.
That's why I'm not in office.
A long process and a difficult process sometimes, but there's a reason.
Could you
and
imagine
it's
me?
fixed.
I would be going, no, it's got to be done. But Donna, you'd be by my side saying, no, Donna, we got to make sure we don't make mistakes going
Well,
in. We got
you know,
laws, and
We do have to push, and sometimes it takes a while,
Mm-hmm.
multiple years. Just like we were talking about the adoption law,
Mm-hmm.
and how long it takes sometimes, but the point is to get it right, and it especially a complicated issue.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be sure that it's thought through and that you get it right.
Well, because we're not only dealing. I mean, there are local folks who sell their kids, and that just tears me up. But now you're looking at, I would think, a total different set of laws when it's someone who has been brought here illegally.
Well, and it is mostly federal when it involves
Okay.
immigration, and with the border being wide open, and it has just exacerbated that issue, where people are being duped into coming. They think of America as being the promised land, and we really are. Who wouldn't want to come to this country? I mean, we are the best country on earth, even though
we fight all
even though
time.
we've got problems. We still, we have freedom. And when people don't have that, and they want to come here, and they'll sell everything that they have and pay the money, and they're extorted by the cartels just to get here.
Now, sometimes they're paying the money to the wrong folks, and it's,
Well, they are. Well, whether they mean to or not, what's going on right now, the cartels are in charge of the border. I mean, when they're actually on the United States side, and they're driving up and down our highways with machine guns on front and driving right past police, they are not afraid, and they're in control of the border. So it's really a serious issue, and it doesn't just remain there. It goes everywhere, and it's even here.
a child here could wind up in Detroit, Michigan, or something. You never know.
We're so mobile, and moving people is an easy thing to do in a free country, and that's what's happening.
But they're
That's
turning
what's
those folks,
happening.
like you said earlier, into slaves, and it's just the way it is.
They are.
We
And-
talked a bit about adoption, and I'm glad to see the things that are happening there. But what about foster parents? Sometimes I feel like they're just kind of holding the bag sometimes.
Well, I tell you, my heart goes out to foster parents, to open their homes and to take these children on a temporary basis on most cases. And these children are in such need. They are in need of everything, not just having shelter and a place to go, but they are so hurt, and, being
They've been through things we couldn't imagine.
there are children that I literally cannot imagine, the situations that some come from, whether it's having to deal with, parents in addiction, or a situation of abuse, and just not having, food.
Well, some kids are born with addictions because their mother was addicted.
That
she was carrying
unfortunately,
that
that's true. That's true. And so for people to open their homes and their lives and take these children in, and then knowing that at some point in time they're going to have to part with them, and they may or may not know whatever happens to that child. They truly are heroes, to do that service for these children. I mean, it's a ministry, and it's a mission, that I'm just so
Those people
thankful.
are angels.
Of course, we don't have enough. We need more. So I do appreciate, and they really have no rights. But they're called, and I do believe it's a calling to provide that ministry for these hurting children, to get them put back together.
I do too. Some more things that we'd like to talk about. We talked a little bit about the environment, things, electric cars and things like that. So, I don't know. There's not to be a lot of charging stations, because if I got stuck with an electric car, I'm sorry, I would have to go to Fort Payne. Well, I'm going to use all of my energy going to Fort Payne and then back.
Well, it really is technology that doesn't yet work for us in rural Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see where, it might in a big city.
Well, it would in New York, but now everybody takes a taxi or they walk everywhere they go there.
They have mass transportation, in bigger cities. But, and there are some people who have them. It doesn't fit in with my life. And
not my lifestyle.
And, we make electric cars in Alabama for people that want to buy them, but I just don't see myself driving one.
If you want to buy one, go for it. I buy it.
I don't know that it's really all that green technology when you have to mine for the minerals. For the batteries.
You just made my point.
And what's the difference? So whether we're drilling for oil or mining for minerals, we're disturbing the earth. And most of these minerals are coming from other countries. Even though we have reserves of them in the United States, we're going to be dependent upon China and other countries, for these minerals that's needed for the batteries, and then the disposal. It's not looking too green to me.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I already felt that way, but Christmas I really felt that way. We had this extremely cold weather, and they were telling us, okay, we're women. We're here trying to, in the South, we cook, okay? So we were cooking for Thanksgiving, we're cooking for Christmas and what have you, and they're telling us that we're going to be a couple hours without electricity.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
cut back.
hold on.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of people coming over for Christmas, Thanksgiving, what have you. I can't do that. I have to have my electricity. I kind of saw that as a little warning there for us.
I don't know that our grid can handle us being total electric. And so I'm an all of the above approach. I'm not against.
That's what works for you.
That's right. I'm not against alternative energy. And the more and more innovation that there is with the battery life and battery storage, those are all, promising things. We may get there someday. This is just part of the process.
Remember the 8-track tapes?
That's right.
Okay, remember those? I don't want 8-track tapes. They're too big. I love just to get my cell phone and just, play, like we have an app here for this station, for my radio station. I love apps. I think they're the most wonderful thing ever, because I can listen to a station from anywhere. It doesn't matter. I can have friends who own the station in Africa, and I would be able to listen to them. But we've got to evolve to that point. You can't just stop and then just,
And I don't want to be forced. I'm about the freedom. If I want to buy an electric car, I need to be able to go buy one. Yeah. But if I like my gas combustion engine, then I should be able to have my
and I want something that's got less maintenance.
And I like my gas stove. Don't make me cook on an electric stove. I like my gas stove.
Well, now say she's gas stove, I'm electric stove. I don't want the gas stove.
Well, I like my gas oven. It's better for baking. The gas stove's better for canning.
Yeah, you're right. You got a point right there. It most certainly is.
So I don't want to be forced.
Yeah.
I believe in the freedom. If somebody wants an electric car, if you want one, hey, go for it.
I was that way with a mask. Now I have asthma, so I can't wear the mask. I'm sorry. That's why we started the show here or the studio.
And if you have an electric car and your battery goes down, I cannot bring you a can of electricity.
I can't do it. Can you imagine me stranded on the road? Honey,
I'll come pick you up.
Can you get me some electricity and bring it because I'm out?
I'll come pick you up, but I can't bring you a can of electricity.
All right, let's make this deal right here. Okay. We get electric cars, you get stranded, I'll pick you up, I'll do something. You do the same for me?
Yes, we have a pact.
Okay, Ginny Schaefer, this is the end of the show. Thank you so much for being on the show with me.
At least we're ending on a laugh.
There we go. We always do.
Me,
and thank you for watching. You are the reason we have this show, and our sponsors as well. Again, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next time around. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Ginny.